Hello and welcome to Breezy Chatter. Today I'm going to be talking about the bold and the beautiful. Thank you for those who have subscribed to my channel. It's much appreciated, and let's get started. So it looks like Ridge and Deacon have a few words before they have a knockdown, drag-out fight. Ridge accuses Deacon of slipping something into Brooke's drink because to Ridge, that is the only reason that Brooke would give Deacon the time of day. Deacon, of course, says that he tried his best to stop Brooke from having a drink. And Deacon also said there was no way he would stoop so low as to slip something into Brooke's drink. Deacon grows tired of Ridge putting him down and says, "If you want to blame me, that's fine. But either you get out or you make a move." And of course, Ridge decided to make a move and they started fighting. And to me, it looked like Deacon had a lot of opportunities to really hurt Ridge and he didn't take them. Now, while Ridge and Deacon are fighting in the storage closet, we have Taylor and Brooke at Brooke's place. Brooke, of course, is blaming Taylor for exposing her involvement with Deacon before she had the opportunity to tell Ridge herself. And Taylor does question if Brooke was ever going to tell Ridge. And of course, Brooke said she was just about to, and Taylor just blew her opportunity to tell Ridge the truth. Taylor, she's not really buying it, and she's telling Brooke that this is a pattern of hers. She's always turning to other men while she's with Ridge. Brooke grows tired of listening to Taylor psychoanalyze her, and she tells Taylor, "I'm not interested in any therapy sessions." She also let Taylor know that she and Ridge are going to work it out, that he understands her and he trusts her, and they will get past this. And then we have Steffi and Hope at the office, and Steffi has the nerve to tell Hope that she feels sorry for her because of who her mother is. And Hope, she's quite puzzled and surprised by Steffi's remark, and she does ask her, what does she mean by that? So Steffi lets her know, "I'm aware of what your mother did. I'm aware of her involvement with Deacon." And of course, Hope tries to defend her mother the best way that she can. She tells Steffi that her mother has been racked with guilt. And she also tells Steffi that she is not one to judge because she's done things in her past that were questionable. And of course, Steffi, she didn't feed into it because, yeah, she knows that it's true. She has her scandals too. But she made an excellent point of telling Hope that this is a pattern with Brooke. And she went on down the line. She talked about Brooke's involvement with Eric. She talked about Thorne. She talked about Bill. And Hope really couldn't defend it. All she could say is that Ridge deeply loves her mother and that they will find a way to work it out. And Steffi kept saying, well, not this time. I don't think it's going to happen. Steffi also said that Brooke doesn't hold herself accountable for her actions. And of course, Hope says, well, what about Taylor? Taylor's not perfect. She's done things in the past. So it seems like Hope's defense is Brooke and Ridge have a strong connection to each other that can't be denied, so they'll find a way to work it out. And that Taylor and Steffi don't have a leg to stand on because they've done things in the past that were inexcusable. But what Hope needs to realize or remember is that when Steffi was in the middle of her scandal with Liam and Bill, Brooke and Hope didn't waste any opportunities reminding her of what she did, making her feel bad, telling her she doesn't deserve a second chance with Liam because what she did is unforgivable. She was with his father. So, it's just kind of funny to watch this because now, yes, it is on the flip side. And Hope just wants Ridge to forgive her mom immediately. Meanwhile, when Steffi did something that was unforgivable, they just raked her through the coals. They didn't give her an ounce of empathy. But Brooke deserves some, though. So I just find that quite rich. Hope also did ask Steffi if she felt that Ridge should be held accountable for his actions and his triangulations between Taylor and Brooke and just stringing them along and playing this game with them. And I thought it was funny how Hope would bring that up, but Hope has not held her own husband accountable for doing the same thing with her and Steffi. So it was quite laughable to watch. It was quite interesting to listen to Hope defend her mother, even though she sounded like a total hypocrite while she was doing it. So Brooke finds her way to Il Giardino, and she's looking for Ridge. While Deacon and Ridge are fighting, Deacon hears Brooke's voice and he stops fighting. And Ridge takes that as an opportunity to attack Deacon. So he's hitting him. He hit Deacon maybe 4 times, and Deacon hit the ground, and Ridge picked up a vase and threw it at him. And Brooke walks in right when this is happening, and she screams for Ridge to stop, and she drops down to where Deacon is, and she, in a very soft and caring voice, says, "Are you okay?" And then she turns to Ridge, and now she has strength in her voice, and she's yelling at Ridge, and she's telling him that Deacon did nothing wrong, that it's all her fault. She's defending Deacon. She's by Deacon's side, and Ridge is watching this. And I think that's when the light bulb came on. And I think that was the final straw, that moment in the storage closet where he watched the love of his life, his Logan, defend the man that he despises against him. And he said it numerous times while he was arguing with Brooke. They were arguing, and he said, "I can't believe you're defending him. You know, I told you not to bring this man into our house. I told you he would ruin us, and you didn't listen." And, you know, she's crying. She's apologetic. She's saying that she takes total accountability. And he says, "You did not take accountability. You did not tell me what you had done. I had to find out from a boy." I think Ridge at that moment felt like he was the bad guy. He was the villain. And that Brooke felt like she had to protect Deacon from him, when all the while Ridge was just trying to protect his marriage. Brooke, she's trying to plead her case with him. She's telling Ridge that she loves him. And he says, "I know you love me until Bill comes around flexing, or Deacon comes and pledges his undying love for you." And he said, "This is it. It's over." And he walked out on her. Brooke, she couldn't believe it, and she's calling out to him, and she's crying. And Deacon, he's watching her cry, and a part of him wants to comfort her. He wants to console her, but he knows that this is not the time. He was moving towards her, and then he said, "I better not." And he stepped away. Meanwhile, we have Steffi and Thomas. They're at Steffi's place, and they're talking about this whole situation. That's all anybody's talking about right now. And they're hoping, or Steffi has the idea that Ridge and Taylor are together. Taylor comes home and she tells the kids about her conversation with Brooke. And she tells the kids that Ridge and Brooke are going to work things out. That's how it seems. And then we have Brooke. She's explaining to Liam and Hope everything that happened. And of course, they're totally shocked. They can't believe that Ridge walked out on Brooke. And they're trying to reassure her that he will come back. And then we have Deacon in the storage closet, looking around at the mess, looking at himself, looking at the damage. And who creeps on in? Sheila. And of course, she wants to know what happened to him. And then she says, "I don't think I need to ask." So she already knows that Ridge came through there and they had a big fight. So then Ridge walks through Steffi's door, and when they lay eyes on him, they are shocked. They can't believe that he's battered and bruised. They want to know what happened to him. He explains he got into it with Deacon, and he said that Brooke showed up, and Brooke defended Deacon. And his kids, instead of giving him a hug, they just slam him with the tough love. "We told you, she's no good. Stay away from her. You know, she's always doing this. You deserve better." He's heard it before. I don't think he wants to hear it again. And Taylor's just standing there watching, and she looks a little embarrassed because the kids are advocating for her. And they're telling Ridge, "You should be with our mom. You know, she is loyal. She's always been by your side. She's never deceived you in this way." And while they're talking to Ridge, Brooke, she is blowing up Ridge's phone. And Thomas gets wind of it. He sees his father's phone, and he decides to take his father's phone and put it in his pocket. he realizes that Brooke is going to come by, and he decides that he will go outside the Cliff House and wait for Brooke. And of course, when Brooke gets there, Thomas is there waiting for her, and he's telling her, no, you can't come in. My dad does not want to see you. Thomas says, I know what happened between you and Deacon. And Brooke's answer was, well, I was drinking. Thomas said, that's no excuse. So she said, well, if I can't come in, can you just ask Ridge to step outside? And Thomas is saying, no, I can't do that. He doesn't want to see you. And then she decides to just call Ridge. So she's calling him, and Ridge's phone starts ringing, and she realizes that Thomas has Ridge's phone. And she said, what are you doing with his phone? I can't believe that you're stopping me from seeing Ridge. So Thomas said, look, you have to go. And Brooke looked like she wanted to push her way through because she's really desperate to get through to Ridge. She doesn't want to fight with Thomas, so she tells Thomas, I'll leave, but you're not going to stop me from speaking with Ridge. And she leaves. So now we have a poor, defeated Brooke going back to her home, where Liam and Hope are waiting and hoping that just maybe Brooke was able to talk to Ridge and convince him to come back home. But she does explain to them exactly what happens. She tells them that Thomas met her at the door and he would not let her in. And Brooke is so frustrated, and she tells them she feels like her marriage is slipping between her fingers. We have Taylor and Ridge talking. And Ridge, he thanks Taylor for her honesty. And he wants to know how she feels about the situation that he's in with Brooke. So Taylor just tells it just the way she sees it, that this is a pattern. Brooke is always doing this, and that it's something that's ingrained in her because she's done it time and time again. It's not something that can be changed. Repeat the same mistakes over and over again. So Rich, he's looking at Taylor, and he's getting closer to her as they're talking, and he's saying, you know, maybe the kids are right. Maybe he needs someone who's never betrayed him, someone who's always been there for him. And then he sort of leans in to kiss her, and she stops him. She said, I can't go through this again. And she looks at him and she says, what are you saying? And Ridge says, I want to come home if you'll have me. And Taylor looks at him, and she just grabs him, and she's just kissing him, and they're kissing. And that is when it goes off. Now, I will say, I am a big fan of Taylor Hayes. You know, I've always wanted her and Ridge together the same way I used to always want Steffi and Liam together. But for some reason, this time around, I don't know. I don't feel the passion, especially after we've been watching Ridge pledge his undying love and devotion to Brooke, watching him be there for her through all of her troubles and telling her that she's the love of his life. And just like that, he's kissing Taylor. It just seems unfair to Taylor. And I'm so surprised that Taylor would allow Ridge to just worm his way back into her life while he's still married and going through a crisis. I think Taylor's been waiting for a moment to put her lips on him, and I think she just grabbed the opportunity. Am I mad about it? No, but I just don't see it working for them. And I just feel like Taylor's going to be hurt again. So you guys tell me, what do you think? Do you think Tridge has a chance? Or do you think this is just going to be more of the same? Ridge is going to find out that Sheila had something to do with Brooke's drinking and just drop Taylor like a hot potato and go running back to Brooke. So that is my commentary. If you liked it, hit like, subscribe, and leave comments. Thank you for your time. Until next time, ta-ta.